Everyone, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to make this season's greeting card. It looks like a picture frame with just a picture of some scenery with some deer and trees. And on the inside we have Merry Christmas and Happy New Year with some more trees. Very easy to make. This is the Snowfront stamp set, and I just love it. It reminds me of the waterfront. You can make the mountains, there's water, birds can sit in the trees. There's a little cabin, a little snowman, and I love it. You can just make whatever kind of scene that you want. So I'm using Merry Merlot here, and I'm also using these embossing folders. They're the Heirloom 3D frames, and you have an oval and a rectangle, and it comes with, this comes together with the frames that you can cut out. So these are the dies that coordinate with this. So I already cut out my die, my rectangle, and I just ran it through my Big Shot and did that. And I just wanted to show you how I do the embossing. So you get two folders. Again, they're the 3D, so they're really pretty thick. So you get the oval and then the rectangle. So we'll use the rectangle today. And what I do, let me just get these out of the way and get my Big Shot here, and then I'll show you. We want to use the new 3D embossing plate and just your base. If you have tabs, open the tabs, however you normally do your embossing. And I cut it first, and then I like to have the Stampin' Up side facing me, and I just move it around until it looks centered, and just kind of play with it until you see that it looks centered. And then you're going to close this up. You're going to put it in on there, put your plate over it, and I like to have it up here so there's not a big bump when it goes through. I've noticed that it just runs a little bit smoother. So I'm just going to run it right through, and then when we take it out, it's nice and embossed, and it's really pretty. There's both sides, but I like this side the best. So let me get the Big Shot out of the way. And I'm sorry, the sun is going in and out, and I wanted to have my blinds open so I have some good light, but I'm getting some, when the clouds move, you're going to see that there's some shadows from my window. So excuse me for that, but I think this would be the best way to get you the best light. So I'm using soft suede and a sponge, and I just wanted to sponge the frame just to give it, you know, a little texture. And you're just going to lightly dip your sponge in and just kind of go around it. And you could go as heavy or as light as you want. And I like to start out light and then add to it. If you hit it too hard, sometimes you get lines. And so just very lightly kind of go over it. And you want to leave some of the kind of the white to give it that textured look. So I think that's good. I tried it with the Merry Merlot, and I really didn't care for it. It looked kind of pinky to me. So I was trying to coordinate with the paper. And here's my lines. I hope this isn't too hard on the eyes. Then I'm going to take my scene that I'm going to make. And I have, it's 5 by 3 3/4, so it's a little smaller than my typical layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm going to just draw some pencil marks right in the, I'm going to line it up where I want it, and then I'm going to draw some pencil marks just, and we could erase these, just at the top, the bottom, and this is just going to give me a guide to where my frame is, so I can do my scene here. And I think this might be too bright. Well, the sun's going behind a cloud. I hope this is not too hard on your eyes. And here's my inside piece. Let me put these on the side. And now I'm going to just get all my stamps. I'm going to start out with the water. So this is the scene, and I'm just going to kind of follow it the way I did it. And with the water, I did, where is the water? I have the little water. Oh, here it is right in front of me. Oh boy. I didn't want it too dark. I'm using Pacific Point because I like that blue, but I didn't want it so dark. So I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp it again. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go a little bit below the line that I drew. And I'm actually going to, there's another little water piece, could be snow or water. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp it off twice, and I just want to get it so that I don't have white below. So stamp it off twice, and when you put your frame on, you'll see whether you need to add more or not. So I kind of played with this a little bit. See, I don't want that white down there. Okay, I stepped away because I wanted to close those blinds. They were bothering me. So I have a little bit of white space that I just want to cover up a little bit. So I'm going to just go again, stamp off again, and just bring this in. Let's see how it looks. I think that looks good. Okay, so let's put the blue away, and then the next thing I want to do is my season's greetings. So I did that in Merry Merlot, and I did get the sentiments from a different stamp set. There's no sentiments in this stamp set, so I'm using Itty Bitty Christmas. I use this all the time. It's got great sentiments for, you know, any kind of card you want to make. So I use the season's greeting and then Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from this set. So I'm going to use the Merry Merlot, and I'm going to just go by that guide and hope for the best here. Let's make sure it looks good. And kind of center it and go up toward that. Okay, and let's see how that looks. So I just kind of keep going back and forth, and I will erase the lines, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I use shaded spruce to get some of the evergreen trees. Or actually, let me do the deer first. I'm using Early Espresso for the deer, and I'll put them in kind of in the middle, maybe off to the side a little bit, but put them there on the frozen pond. It's frozen, right? Otherwise they'd be sinking in. And then we'll use the shaded spruce and do the trees. And I love all these evergreen trees. I'm just, I love that you can stamp it. And I'm going beyond the line, and then I'm going to stamp it again up a little bit. It gives it a lighter look. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll go here, down a little bit, and you could just really go a little crazy with these trees. You can make them dark and light. You can make them high and low. It's really cool. Okay, so I think we're done with this part of it. So let me just quickly erase the lines, and then we'll stamp the center, the inside, and then we'll put the card together. I don't even see the other lines, so I think we're in good shape with that. So on the inside, I put that other sentiment, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll use Merry Merlot, which is under here. And we'll just put the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And then some more trees. You could put more deer in here. You could do whatever you want. It's your card, right? Make it however you want it. And I'm just gonna and I'll do a little guy too. I'm gonna stamp him off first, I think. Just to give a variation of color. And then we can put our card together. So what I did was I used dimensionals on the frame. So this is, I don't have it now because I used them all, but this is a good kind of thing to use if you had the ends of your dimensionals. You go right down the side, or you could use those other dimensional strips. But I'm going to just go around and use my regular old dimensionals. I'm going to put a lot on though because I want it to really stick well and not have anything kind of popping up. All right, one more. Okay, and we'll just take the backs off. This is such a pretty embossing. I love it. You can make a lot of different cards with this for any kind of occasion with these frames. So we get all of these off. And then this is probably the hardest part of the whole card, getting it all centered straight. So I'm looking at the picture, I'm looking at the outside. Okay, looks good to me. And then we'll use some liquid glue and just put it on the card base. And I did put a little twine around it. I felt like it needed something. So we'll put a little twine around it and the inside. And I think we're good to go. But you really can use this stamp set and make a lot of different scenes. I mean, it's really just get out some scrap paper and play. I've seen some beautiful cards on Pinterest where it looks like somebody actually painted the card. It just looks so nice. And isn't that wonderful? You don't have to be an artist and you could paint a beautiful scene with stamps. Okay, so let's get our twine out. And what I did was I just went around it twice and then I tied a bow. So hopefully this will work easily. So let's get it. I'm going to leave an end here and just go around twice. Get it all straight. And tie my bow. I think I lied before. I think this is probably the hardest part. I always have a hard time tying bows. And I should probably have taken this one off, but I'm not going to do that now. I should have cut it. I like to cut it after to see how long I want it. So I try not to waste it, but sometimes it's just easier to cut it. Okay, and then we'll just fix the bow. And cut the tails. And I'll fix it some more later. You don't need to see me do all that adjusting. But this is the card. I think they're really pretty. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you check out this stamp set. I think you're going to like it. You guys have a good day. Bye.